stars from Hollywood and from all over the world to entertain you on a giant screen with the few colorful motion pictures you've been hearing about and reading
It's
about.
showtime, folks. Enjoy the show.
We're delighted to have you with us.
They're driving theater.
You'll find something to please you to add to your evening's enjoyment.
Is pleased to bring you our feature presentation.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is Christmas Eve 2024. You are tuned into the Drive-In Speaker Box podcast. I'm your host, Bo, the boom operator.
I'm Slick Doggy the Grip.
And happy holidays, guys. It is here. We're Christmas time. I'm wearing a winter sweater. Jake's wearing a Macho Man Randy Savage t-shirt.
I don't have...
I almost brought you a Christmas sweater, and it was a Miller Lite Christmas sweater, but I brought it, and I had it in my hand, and I was like, he's not going to wear that because he's going to be like, this is stupid beer, and so I left it.
Well, I mean, the same company makes Coors, so it's fine.
Oh, okay.
But, the only Christmas anything that I own, clothing-wise whatsoever, is my Trans-Siberian Orchestra concert shirt.
You didn't wear that?
It doesn't fit anymore. It's from forever ago, and it's been washed and shrank and stuff. So
Not even as like a bandana or an ascot.
No,
you
I
could
would
have. Yeah,
never.
you could just cut like the front and just wear the neck. And
No, I'm not.
Let
I
it
don't
hang down
I
like a
don't
bib.
I don't damage my concert shirts. I have so many
Be
that
like
I
a
just
hot.
keep.
What if you?
But it has like a cool winter wizard, and it's like this wind-blown wizard in like the ether
frost
of the sky, and it's like a snow scene, and it's like Trans-Siberian Orchestra, but it's like this Gandalfian wizard dude.
Have you ever seen
in
those
the snow
quilts that like those grannies make out of like old T-shirts, and they like that are just like tattered and you can't wear them or you can't fit into them, and they cut like the good part out, and then they stitch it into this big quilt of cool T-shirts.
I've seen
that's rad, dude.
I still wouldn't do that, man. Like T-shirts is honestly, I collect shirts. It's just one of those things. I have so many different concert and wrestling and all sorts of movie shirts and things like that. Yeah. But yeah, I could never bring myself to take scissors to one of them.
Well, speaking of taking the scissors to things, we hope that you guys are wrapping all your presents, getting them under the tree. It's Christmas Eve, but we are here. We're actually live about 30 minutes early than we normally do because it is the holiday season. For those of you that listen to the show regularly, I own and operate a cocktail bar here in Northwest Arkansas called Pinpoint. We're actually open today, a rare Monday that we're open. So it's busy over there. We got the holiday cheer going. Our Christmas pop-up is in full effect. So once we wrap up here, I'm going to go over there and continue to help bring people some holiday memories. But we figured we would also come up here and join you guys for a little while for your holiday. So we hope that you guys are cozied up. It's the perfect time to like watch movies with family. Did you see that Christmas Vacation was in theaters last week?
No, but I was
Pissed me
incredibly ill.
They were like 1:30 p.m. was like the only show time that I could get.
They've been doing that with a lot of movies that when I've checked listings, I'll go in just on a random day, and the first day it opens up, it's that day, the day of, and there's been like 4 or 5 like special showings, but they're all single one showings.
One time.
And then I'm like, well, I want to watch that. And then it's the only day that week they're showing it because the next day they're showing different things. So there's been lots of cool things like that. I think I've seen Christmas Vacation in the theater.
I know I haven't. We saw Scrooge that one time. That one was awesome.
Which Scrooged in the theater, like that's a movie to watch in the theater because of the whole death scene and Bobcat going crazy and stuff like. Oh, and Carol Kane. Mm-hmm. Just
it's a great
being
theater movie.
An insane person. Scrooged is a good like in the theater movie to watch. Especially because then Bill Murray talking to the audience through the credits.
Oh, and Jack Palance, as Bashania Jackson says on Twitch. Jack Palance in anything is great.
But yeah, dude, I've seen, I watched at least two of the City Slickers movie at the theater too. So.
Tango and Cash. He's the bad
guy.
He's the bad guy.
One of the bad guys, right?
City Slickers.
Because isn't Coach what's his name? Isn't he a bad guy in Tango and Cash too? Or is that a different dog movie?
I think that's a different.
It might be
yeah,
that
I think
one.
it's a different movie. He's not in. He's not in Tango and Cash. I know what you're talking. It's like Philip Zadar.
Craig
is
T.
in there.
Nelson.
Craig T.
Yeah,
Nelson
thanks.
is in there. He's not. He was in.
There's some movie where it's
He's
like
the bad guy. I think
it's the
that's
bad
like,
guy, and it's the same as like Tango and Cash, where it's that same warehouse with the boxes. Maybe that's why it has like
Every
it has the exact
80s
same
and 90s
climax.
movie,
Well, I guess
action
you're
movie,
right, yeah.
there's like boxes everywhere. It's because it was a cheap and efficient way for like things to like fall down and go chaotic. And they're
Honestly,
like, yeah, just all these
thinking about
cardboard
it, it
boxes.
might be that movie with friggin' Jean-Claude Van Damme, where he has
where
the mullet.
with the pants, that had the exploding buttons, and it also had.
No, he punches the snake. I don't remember any exploding buttons.
No, there was the one.
There's
it was
so
like
many of these movies where they're like warehouse and boxes, and that's where the bad guy is.
Eagle Heart,
No, not Eagle Heart. It's the one where he's like in
Hard
the,
Target.
No, Hard Targets. Yeah, Hard Target. It is
Okay,
Hard Target.
all right.
Yeah, where he's the
In the hockey rink.
in Louisiana. He's like in the bayou.
With the mullet.
What's
and
the hockey
jeans.
rink one? That's
What is the one? Hard to Kill?
No, that's Steven Seagal.
Not Steven Seagal, yeah.
It doesn't matter. We're just boxes.
We're just riffing on boxes. What's your favorite box falling down movie? Or like, where are all these boxes filled with Chinese newspaper in the streets of San Francisco, and there's like a car coming around the corner and it's like, and then these boxes are stacked up and it goes.
Yeah, that's when that Neutron Dance is playing, like you were talking about.
Yeah. So
Doing the Neutron Dance.
it's funny because going back to something modern, a couple of weeks ago I was talking about how I was watching that show Interior Chinatown, and Interior Chinatown does kind of spoof procedural cop dramas and all this stuff. And one of the characters, every time she's driving, she always has a toothpick. Like every time, and anytime she gets into a car and she's going into park, she like hits a curb, and then one of those boxes like falls over. It's like every damn time, and it's so hilarious because it makes me think of the Neutron Dance, like the coming around the corner and boom, a cardboard box goes, or like a produce vendor is like, oh, my cabbages, and
But yeah, all that is to wrap back around is that I did see that there was Christmas Vacation in the theater, but I did not get to see it. I saw somewhere, I think Krampus was in a theater around us recently too, but it was like a one showing thing. That's a fun movie.
It is it's a good movie.
It's like, and if you've seen Red One, now that it's available to just watch for free at home, which I had read before last week that Red One has been pretty good on streaming for Amazon. They've had pretty big numbers for
and
it.
everybody that's watching it is going, hey, we actually really enjoyed it. It's kind of fun. Why didn't we go see this in the theater? Oh, because the media told us not to.
Well, or because they knew it was an Amazon movie and they didn't have it at home soon enough. But fear not, we've slain Krampus.
Yeah, we got him right here on the Drive and Rush set.
It's like the opposite of Red One because at the end of Krampus, everyone's trapped in the globes forever.
Wah, wah, got him. Well, Christmas movies are upon us, but let's we got news to talk about. There's a handful of bits of news. We were just talking about in the pre-show that there is a Odyssey. We're back on this Odyssey kick. Christopher Nolan announced that he's doing a version of the Odyssey. We were kind of giving our opinions on that. I'm Christopher Nolan out personally. I know everybody loves Christopher Nolan, and then Interstellar got re-released in theaters a couple weeks ago and made a bunch of money.
But his more recent films have not been something that a lot of people.
Nobody watched the Palindrome movie or whatever it was called. What was it?
Yeah,
what was it
the
called?
time, like the time doesn't exist and you don't have to worry about bullets movie, whatever that was. No one watched it.
Yeah,
there's been a couple others.
Tenet, yeah, that one.
Thanks.
I don't know if he goes like old fashioned with it, then it might be cool. But I don't want to see a modern twist. I don't want to do that. But that was interesting, and another old classic, just dusting some shit off of the. Go ahead.
I was going to say, well, the Odyssey being such an incredibly long book too, Imagine that in the hands of Christopher Nolan, just turning it into
the most boring thing ever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like they spend 3 months on the beach looking for the Cyclops sheep, and that's real time of you in the theater.
It's like part 1 is just them looking on the beach, and it's 3 hours long. Part 2 is...
Yeah, it'd be the only way to make Poseidon boring. Other iterations of the Odyssey are not very interesting. There's like a Sean Bean, made for TV.
I remember that one.
Yeah.
Somebody in the comments, I think Tony Jones in the comments on Twitch was asking about the TV version.
Oh, really? Yeah, yeah. And, and as exciting as it was to know that it was happening, because this was coming off the time that, Hercules and Xena were just on TV, and that type of thing was really
Everybody was
exciting.
shaking hands like this.
Yeah, Hercules handshake rule. But then, every iteration of the Odyssey's always just managed to be some of the most boring stuff.
Kind of like Beowulf.
Yeah, because it just takes so long. So put that in the hands of Christopher Nolan, who makes things
even
drag.
longer.
Yeah, and I get that part of the appeal of Interstellar is that it kind of drags and is boring, but Interstellar's has its merit and it's fun. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know about him doing that.
But
disappointed. Yeah. Or the second iteration. So very disappointed.
Kevin Sorbo, now very involved in Jesus movies. The God's Not Dead franchise is all very Kevin Sorbo financed. But other franchises that are getting resurrected from the dead, I thought this was kind of interesting, and I hated the quote. But The Mummy, I love my Universal horror monsters. I absolutely love them. Blumhouse is partnering with Universal lately, which is kind of cool, but it's continuing its quest to kind of revive some of these, and it has been revealed that Lee Cronin, who is kind of responsible for the Evil Dead Rise, which I didn't like very much, by the way, is set to write and direct a new take on The Mummy, and Blumhouse is going to produce it for New Line Cinema. And the quote when they were talking about when they asked Cronin about it, he goes, "This is going to be unlike any mummy movie you've ever laid eyeballs on before. I'm digging deep into the earth to raise something very ancient and very frightening." And I go, "No,
So,
I don't want that. I don't want that at all."
I didn't get to see this interview, but I did see that Blumhouse tweeted out the script, the first page of the script, and it just says "The Mummy" by whoever,
I want The Mummy to be a handful of just fez-wearing archaeologists that are, it's set in the 1940s, and they're, because it has to be set in the 40s because mummies aren't scary today because mummies are dumb.
Well, and who's still doing Egyptology? When's the last time that the world was dude, Egyptology is pretty sick.
Yeah.
It needs to be
old. It needs to be set
1900 to pre-World War II.
Pre-World War
Yeah.
II. When we gave a shit about the pyramids, when they weren't just a tourist trap for people to go and take selfies of them going
So it needs to be you're saying, when Egyptology was at its height, and there's dudes in the fez hats or whatever, or Brendan Fraser, super cool action badass rad mummy remake.
Yeah,
I don't want the Tom Cruise movie would have been fine if they wouldn't have called it The Mummy.
absolutely would have been a fun movie.
Not a bad movie,
Terrible
honestly.
mummy movie. But Bashania on Twitch mentions it said a lot of the vast majority of mummies that are traded are actually from North America. If you take
Really,
into
I would have thought that South America, like
Aztec mummies,
Argentina,
and Argentinian mummies,
yeah.
That'd be kind of cool. Just throwing motherfuckers up on the shock mule and ripping their hearts out for some blood ritual and turn it into what was that Mel Gibson movie that was so weird?
Yeah. Frick.
That one.
Apocalypto.
Yeah, Apocalypto.
Yeah. That movie's something.
See, there we go. That's you just make that just one part Apocalypto, a little mummy movie, and then maybe one part Anaconda. Did you hear? I don't know if this is even real news, but
it is.
It is for real?
Yep.
So if you guys haven't heard about this, they're wanting to do an Anaconda remake, but it's with Jack Black and Paul Rudd.
We talked about it when they first announced it. Sony put out a video of the two of them being it's still in the works, y'all. And it is being released Christmas next year.
And so the plot here is two guys want to go down to the, Amazonian rainforest or whatever and recreate their favorite 90s movie, Anaconda.
Oh, jeez.
And then, of course, Anaconda's come out. And is John Voight still alive?
Yes.
Okay. Well, if
I
John
think-
Voight's not in it, he's got to be in it.
He recently.
Did he die?
I think now that we're saying it out loud, I feel like it was something that happened.
I feel like he's dead. No, he's alive.
Okay.
85 years old.
Cool.
So
Yeah.
he could totally still be in it. He has to
He
be.
can't be the same character.
No,
That
if
would be
he-
so funny.
He'd have to be. That would be the funny because he was already not believable as that character in Anaconda, playing that character.
where he was like living in the
He's
Amazon and he's like hitting on all like
He's like,
South
"Hey,
American ladies.
baby, I'm a big rootin' tootin' hardcore kind of guy. I'm
Yeah.
a snake master." And you're like, John Voight, what? You have no business. And he's because he's so stiff.
He was
anyway.
like greasy and he had like his weird ponytail and like why would Jennifer Lopez be like, yeah, I will get on a boat with this person? Like there's no way.
But he has to be in this movie. That's the only way I will. He must have been one of the most charming MFers on the planet because how did he give birth? Or well, he didn't give birth, but how did he impregnate the woman that gave birth to Angelina Jolie? Like his kids are so damn attractive, and I don't get it. But anyway. John Voight better be in this.
I didn't
freaking
realize
movie.
that was the plot to the movies. So in that universe, Anaconda is it's our universe where Anaconda
Yes,
like exists as
a movie, but then
And
they go down there to like make a fan version of their movie. And
See, I hate that it's going to be a comedy though too. Like Jack Black and Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd, yeah.
Or what if they just pull the rug on everyone and it's just straight up a horror movie?
Well, I kind of hope it is.
like
I hope.
just action horror with these comedy actors.
Like, what was that movie with? Oh, geez, it was Bruce Willis, and it was like the Coyote or the something, and he was the hitman, and he blew off Jack Black's arm with that rifle. And had him hold a pack of cigarettes and blew off his arm. That was the best scene Jack Black's ever been in. Now because the Jackal, that's what it was. And because I don't like Jack Black anymore, I'm like Jack Blacked out.
Oh yeah, people.
So I want to see his arm get
don't
lobbed off.
As soon as he turned on Kyle, or
Yeah,
whatever,
you don't turn on Kyle. Dude.
canceled the tour, and then he did that. He gets Santa's mail, but he's Satan or something.
Yeah, that was that new movie that came out.
Yeah, I
recently.
heard it's really bad.
Well, Jack Black.
And then we got Minecraft coming up, which is so dumb.
God.
But yeah, no, that's real. Also, something that's real, which the Mummy that already has a set release date too, April of 26. Yeah, due April 17th, 2026. So.
Damn.
But something else here that's very unnecessary. They are going to continue to drive Ghostbusters as far into the ground, doing more
And
and,
it's
more
not even like.
irreparable harm for Ghostbusters.
But why? Because like the franchise, Fast and the Furious has made way more money than Ghostbusters. Like I know Ghostbusters is beloved by some. But it's not a moneymaker, and I'm wondering why they keep thinking that it is. It's like, stop. Like, let it be sacred. Stop thinking that because some people hold it sacred, there's more money to just fucking squeeze out of everything.
So Netflix has both a show and now newly announced animated movie in the works.
Animated, I can handle.
But, it's continuing on the new Ghostbusters stuff, like the frosted Earth or ice Earth or whatever, frozen nonsense. So we're getting more of that, but Netflix is making these series and movie now that will just continue to overdo it with the Ghostbusters. And I don't know if you guys are aware of this. Somewhere back there. There's behind the Creature from the Black Lagoon. There's tons of Ghostbusters toys. There's Slimer right behind me. There's Ghostbusters toys to my left.
We like Ghostbusters.
We like that, but they've done too much after the failed reboot, and then now the semi-failed other reboot. Yeah, the world doesn't need more Ghostbusters. The second movie was too much. You
The
know what's
world doesn't need a whole lot of what it keeps
You
getting.
know what was great was the video game that was the original story of the Ghostbusters sequel, which was like a journey into hell and them fighting ghosts. The video game is very fun and super rad.
Yeah,
and it's been
that's
recently remastered, but the story in it is what Ghostbusters 2 was supposed
Should
to
have
be.
been, yeah.
And they were like, they changed it. But that was the original idea for that stuff. That game is a lot of fun. Yeah, all the voice actors. So there's that. And looks like you got something pulled up of more things that we actually, now that I've seen it, realize definitely I don't want it now.
So if you guys haven't paid attention to the internet, the new first Superman trailer, James Gunn's new Superman, which who asked for this? Who demanded? Who was like, you know what? We need another one. Let's start it all again. Let's.
Yeah, we got the trailer for it, and it opens up with Superman having just had his ass whooped, falling to the ground, bleeding everywhere, completely unable to move. And James Gunn has been interviewed about this. They're like, why did you open up a Superman trailer with him bleeding everywhere, having his ass beat? Like, this is Superman, and your first introduction of your new Superman to the entire world is him being wrecked. And he goes, his answer was that, well, Superman bleeding represents us as the American people, and that there is good in the people. And he went on some like weird political like thing that made zero sense. And he's like, Superman bleeds because there's still good in people. And none of it made any sense. And it was one of the weirdest things weirdest things that I've read recently that made zero sense. And it sounds like maybe they caught him when he was just like, he had smoked.
He probably doesn't even know what Superman is.
Yeah. And there's a Crypto in the trailer. I don't, he looks more like, the dog from Tintin, than he does Crypto. So I don't know what the hell that's about.
I don't know why Crypto's even in this.
Well, Crypto's pretty cool.
No, I'm saying, but why is Crypto in this? Why is Crypto not being introduced in a different way?
Well, yeah, I don't know. Guy Gardner I hate everything about the way they have Guy Gardner. Nathan Fillion's cool, and I know he's friends with James Gunn, and I think there's so many things that Nathan Fillion can do. Being Guy Gardner does not appear to be one of them. Mr. Terrific looks pretty okay. Metallo was very weird looking. I don't know if you picked up that Metallo was in the trailer. He's the guy with like the white, weird, bumpy face.
Yeah.
Or not Metallo, Metamorpho.
Yeah.
Which Metamorpho is one of the coolest dudes in the comics, and I really don't know why they're making him so creepy looking in the trailer. If you know who Metamorpho is, then you know who it is. If you don't, then you're just like, who's this weird looking guy? So Hawk Girl, you only get like a split second, but Hawk Girl makes me really want to see Hawkman. But I know they're not going to do Hawkman because they did him in Black Adam, and did it wrong, did it very, very wrong. So we'll see more about that. But the things that really bothered me in this trailer was that, yeah, you see Superman bleeding, and then in the trailer he's being yelled at by this crowd, and someone throws a can at the back of his head, but he flinches and his hair moves.
Yeah.
He's Superman, and his hair moves when he's hit by an aluminum can. And so with that logic, the way that his cape and his outfit stays together, even though he has his ass beat constantly, doesn't make any sense anymore. His invulnerability is completely in question, and I don't know why his hair moves when he gets hit by a can. Like, nothing should... I don't know. It's not Superman. I don't know what this is, but it's not a Superman that I've grown
I just don't
know.
Why do we still give a shit about Superman? Well, like, why? Like, I would so much rather, this. Like, I think if you want to tell like a darker, grittier, tell the Superboy story. Like, I think that would be a cooler movie.
Oh, wouldn't that be something if he ended up being not Clark Kent and he's not Superman at all, but it turns out that he's Connor and he's Superboy, and then now everything makes more sense. And then at the end of the
that's
movie,
why he would bleed.
At the end
And
of the
then
movie, he dons the leather jacket and the
then
shades.
It would make more sense that Crypto's in this movie.
Oh yeah, that would be pretty cool.
So I don't know. Maybe because I think a Superboy movie would be better because his origin story is way darker and way kind of more twisted and and it would make more sense why Lex Luthor is in this movie a lot more because he's his fucking dad.
The Nicholas Hoult Lex Luthor thing doesn't make a lot of sense to me either because he looks too young. Like he just looks too young, and it doesn't. He's not like Gene Hackman where he's like a bad guy. Like Gene Hackman was a good Lex Luthor because you believe that he was a shitbag.
Yeah.
Clancy Brown is the voice of Lex
It's
Luthor.
so
Is perfect. It's
good.
just so perfect. But there's nothing imposing
What about Jesse Eisenberg?
No, let's not. No. And the Nicholas Hoult thing is, I'm afraid it's too close to the Jesse Eisenberg, which is that there's nothing imposing about Nicholas Hoult. There's nothing that makes you fear. Like Lex Luthor.
He does not seem like he's dangerous.
Lex Luthor's supposed to be mostly brains, sure, but he's not there. What's his name? The guy that played Lex in Smallville. That worked. And he's because he had a voice that made it work. He does that Inside of You podcast, and I can't remember his name right now. He does the voice of the Flash in Justice League, and he does a lot of voice acting. He's very good at that. But his voice made it where he had some imposing stature there that he may have not physically represented. And Nicholas Hoult doesn't have that. Nicholas Holt's a great actor. I watched Juror Number 2.
And the one that he was in,
The Order.
the vampire one, where I can't remember the name of it, him and Nicolas Cage. That was really good too.
Oh, Renfield.
Renfield, yes.
Yeah. See, and he's fine in a role like that. But I just, him as Lex Luthor, like, what makes you think that James Gunn's going to have to do something, or everyone involved in this movie better have pulled some stuff out of their butt to make it work. Talking about Nicholas Hoult real quick, The Order will be out on VOD tomorrow. So if where you are is like where we are, and there was a single theater that had 2 showings of it for one weekend, and you did not get to watch The Order, it will be available to rent or buy starting tomorrow. So you can get it at home. Its price is set for $20 to rent or $25 to buy. So there's that. And then you have a trailer for something else.
Oh, yeah. And the other one I wanted to mention was Karate Kid Legends. Karate Kid Legends has a new trailer, which... So the idea here is they're wanting to tie all the different movies and the Cobra Kai show and all that stuff into one Karate Kid universe, even though, the Karate Kid that came out with Jackie Chan had nothing to do with karate, it had nothing to do with Miyagi, had nothing to do with whatever. And, the Karate Kid things have scattered everywhere. And I know people are like going, hey, yeah, cool. I love seeing Jackie Chan. I would love Jackie Chan is great. Ralph Macchio's cool. Like, I love Cobra Kai. I've been on this thing, this trailer to Karate Kid Legends or whatever. Why on planet Earth would Jackie Chan want to enlist Daniel LaRusso's help in training this kid? Because when you, even in the Karate Kid universe, it's all small beans. Like, the Hill Valley Karate Championship. And then they're like, oh, well, now Cobra Kai's in the Tekai Saikai Taikai Baikai. And they're all still fucking kids, man, and they're just like, show me your kata, hi-ya, and then Jackie Chan is Jackie Chan, dude, and he's teaching kung fu on a mountain at a temple, and Shaolin guys are jumping in circles. They don't need wax on, wax off. Like, Get out of here.
So the trailer does nothing to tell us of what Jackie Chan's character and Mr. Miyagi's relationship was, or how they know each other. Nor is I doubt they're going to be able to find a satisfactory answer as to why Miyagi and Jackie Chan's characters would know each other or have anything to do with each other, especially after the stories set up in the movies and Cobra Kai. There's just not a link that
The only thing I can think of.
they both do bonsai and they met in like a chat room.
No, I think that here we go. This is what
They
I think
were
is
like
going to happen.
in the bonsai chat room.
And they're like, oh yeah, snip snap.
Or Jackie Chan sold bonsai trees to Mr. Miyagi when he opened the store in Karate Kid 2, or
here's
was it
what
2
I-
or 3 where he opened the
It
bonsai?
was part 3 where he opened the store. I
Oh
think.
yeah, because 2 they go to Japan. 3
Yeah, 3 he
yeah,
opens the store, and then the dude with the spear
because that's where
comes in and
Rich
starts-
dude.
Yeah,
that's where Silver Johnny or what's his name Terry
yeah,
Silver.
Terry Silver.
Yeah.
Who's actually an awesome villain. He's so good in Cobra Kai. But here's what I think is going to happen, because I haven't seen the season finale of Cobra Kai because I don't think it's out yet. It's the full finale. This is what I think is going to happen. The Miyagi-Do karate, all the kids are going to win the Sekai Taikai, right? And it's the world-renowned Sekai Taikai Karate Championship. And everybody knows, like, Sekai Taikai that's in the martial arts or whatever. And they hear Miyagi-Do, world-renowned Miyagi-Do dojo, blah, blah, blah. And then, since they're world-renowned, Jackie Chan, his character, is going to see that, and they go, oh, well, we're going to America anyway, and since we're here, we might as well enlist in the top dojo in the world, which is going to be coincidentally right here in California, where we're going to be anyway. And then they seek each other out or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but
That's the loosest tie I could even
the trailer
make
has
possible.
Jackie Chan asking Ralph Macchio's help to train a kid. And the article I read about it was like, yeah, he's the next karate person. And so Jackie Chan teaches kung fu. That movie was called The Karate Kid because Jaden Smith was like, I'm going to learn karate from TV. And he goes, get karate the hell out of here. This is kung fu. And that's how the movie called The Karate Kid, because he was like, karate's trash. We do kung fu here. And then that's the only karate anything there. But they're saying this kid's karate. Now, every Cobra Kai is not karate, right? Cobra Kai is like, I can't remember what the Tong Sudo or something like that. So the only karate that has been in Karate Kid stuff is Miyagi, and then in part 2 is what's his name? Yeah, but it makes it seem like it's not even really karate at that point too.
No.
It's Kenpo or it's Okinawan karate, which isn't karate at all, right? Anyhow,
It's its own thing.
so none of it makes any sense whatsoever. But yeah, I don't know. The trailer actually ruined some of the excitement that I had.
Same.
For it.
It totally did too, because I didn't see no Terry Silver. I didn't see no any other character. There was no Chosen. I want Chosen. Chosen is my favorite character in the new series. It's just he's fantastic. I could watch the whole Chosen show. Like, he's great.
Oh yeah, because Ralph recruits him to teach him how to be like real martial artist or whatever. Right?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
and Chosen
I still
comes
haven't
in,
seen season 6. I need to watch. I haven't watched any. I need to watch. It's all out now, right?
except for the very very final episode. They're waiting, but
I'll probably watch it as soon as it's all out. Then
it's good.
That way, I'm not waiting. Bashan Ye's asked us about Hillary Swank. I hope that she does not ever
we don't need
come
that.
in. The next
Not unless they punch her in the nose.
I like the idea that the next Karate Kid is the one thing they eliminate from canon of all of the Karate Kid stuff, because everything else in
I'd rather see Jennifer Shue come back and get punched in the nose.
everything in she did come back.
I know she did. She was in Cobra Kai. I just wanted to see her come
Elizabeth
back.
Shue.
Yeah.
She played Jennifer in.
And she came back.
Dude, you got
Cobra Kai.
Back to the Future on your mind.
I
man,
know.
because
I'm thinking
Hill Valley and
Elizabeth Shue.
yeah, Jennifer. But yeah, she came back. But yeah, next Karate Kid being the one thing
It was
taken
the
out
All
of
Valley, not the Hill Valley, but
the only thing
All
from Next
Valley.
Karate Kid that's cool is that's the movie where Miyagi goes to the temple and he has that dude shoot the arrow at him and he's like, "No, dude," and they're like, "Cool, you passed, Miyagi." Like, that's the only part of it, because the rest of it is just like her being terrible.
well, yeah.
She's worse than Daniel, because Daniel in the first movie sucks so bad.
Yeah.
Daniel in the first 2
fart.
movies. Daniel's only cool. No, you know what? Daniel sucks every time. If you go back and watch any of the Karate Kid movies, Daniel sucks.
Kind of does.
Because like in the 3rd movie, the only reason that the guys like come in and cause trouble is because of him, and then he lets Miyagi's like
That's the
most
whole- yeah.
precious bonsai that he put on the side of the mountain to protect it and everything forever. He like climbs down and like, thanks for the bonsai, idiot. Snap. And he's like, oh, I've ruined everything once again. Like Daniel does nothing
Daniel
but
sucks.
cause problems for everybody.
And that's what made the Cobra Kai show so great is they acknowledged that.
Yeah.
They were like, he's just a little.
And
prick.
the next Karate Kid was worse than Daniel. So there you go.
Well, let's talk about movies that are coming out this weekend because we got a lot of stuff to talk about.
I'm going to run through the last bit of news real quick.
Shit.
Masters of the Universe has new castings, which include Jared Leto as Skeletor. This is not animated. He's not doing a voice.
That I could get behind, though.
Really? No chance. Are you kidding me?
I could see Jared Leto going.
He's just going to be the Joker again.
I know, and it's going to be.
It's going to be awful.
Master of the Universe is going to suck ass anyway, so might as well.
I
make me
looked
laugh
up
at
the
it.
people they've cast for it. It does not look like it's going to be a good time. Mickey 17 got a extended trailer. I don't know if you've seen it. That makes that movie look even that much more fun.
Oh, I cannot wait for that movie.
Yeah, it looks great. Sonic 4 has already been confirmed. It was confirmed prior to the release of Sonic 3.
And can we just side note, because I know we're going to talk about it later in the show, but can we just shout out to Sonic kicking Mufasa right in the freaking ball sack at the box office this week? Ooh.
But
suck it, Disney.
Paramount confirmed that Sonic 4 will happen. Release date set for spring of 2027. And we got a new image from The Prosecutor, which helped me learn that The Prosecutor's coming out. A movie starring and co-directed by Donnie Yen, where he's like a Chinese prosecutor and he has to fight people for reasons. And then my last thing here is that Running Man release date got moved up like 2 weeks because it did not want to compete with Wicked 2. So now we will be getting Running Man.
Coincidentally,
November
no one's
7th.
going to want to watch that movie anyway.
Running Man? Yeah, there's no Arnold. November 7th of next year is its new projected release date. So,
Yuck.
there you go. Lots of dumb movies in the future.
Yeah, I don't care.
Which
Those also
I
terrible.
have not watched Sonic 3. I heard that is very good. One of my cousins told me yesterday that it's probably the best of the three.
Well, and I haven't
I'm very
read
excited.
anything online, but if you've heard about this, we'll just confirm. Do they shoot the kid?
Oh, I don't know anything about a kid.
That's like Shadow's origin story. Is he's all pissed off because they killed this girl and they shot her.
He said it basically follows the entire storyline of Sonic Adventures 2 from GameCube
But
days.
they're like, yeah,
Like,
are they going to go dark and actually stick true?
yeah, the story is the same as the, Shadow's introduction game for the most part. They even have a Chow Garden restaurant, so chows are in the movie and things like that. So, but he said it's probably the best of the three. They've the first two were
just keep
great,
getting better.
and I'm excited to go see this one soon. So,
All right. Well, speaking of seeing things soon, let's talk about what's coming out in theaters this weekend because it is the holiday week. It's Christmas week. Everybody's going to be in the theaters watching movies. It's what we do. There is one movie I've been waiting a really long time for. I already got my tickets. Almost all of them are sold out already for this show. But Nosferatu finally hitting theaters at long last. It is from Robert Eggers. You've seen the trailers. You've heard people talk about it. Nicholas Hoult again in here. You got Bill Skarsgård, Willem Dafoe. I mean, I cannot wait for this. I'm so excited about this movie. 2-hour runtime, perfect runtime. I mean, what's there to say? I mean, I think this is gonna. I know I haven't seen it yet, but I think it is going to just leap right up at the top of my absolute favorite vampire movie list of all time.
well, you got two Count Orlocks in one movie with this.
Willem Dafoe
in
and
there,
Bill
yeah.
Skarsgård. And you've got, Nicholas Hoult playing Ranfield in another movie, but then coming in and now being
Maybe that's his
Hutter.
He's going to be just Christopher Lee too, just like in every vampire movie.
Man, I hope so. So Nosferatu's coming out in theaters this week. Also, Baby Girl. If you've seen the trailers for this, it is Harris Dickinson and Nicole Kidman. It is a movie about a high-powered CEO like having a sexy affair with a very, very young intern and power dynamics and all this kind of stuff. Which it's it's sexy when it's an old woman sleeping with a really young boy, but if this were turned, I'm sure this would be the most disgusting and disturbing film of the year. But Baby Girl coming out in theaters this week. Antonio Banderas also in this film as well. Coming out from A24. Also coming out is A Complete Unknown. If you guys have seen the trailers for this from James Mangold, it is starring Timothée Chalamet. It's got a whole bunch of cameo appearances in this one, but Ellie Fanning's in this one. Edward Norton. I mean, it's got Peter Garrity's in this one. Bunch of cool folks. But it's a movie about Bob Dylan, and if you like Bob Dylan, you might like it. If you don't like Bob Dylan and you get real tired of hearing his voice, then maybe you don't really want to see that movie like me. What are your feelings on Bob Dylan? I mean, hot take.
It's not really my thing. Yeah, I've never been like, you know what I want to listen to right now? A Bob Dylan song. So it's just, yeah, not for me.
I mean, I respect him as a singer-songwriter, yes.
They ramble and they're long. I mean, it's his music's not ever really been my thing.
Well, and I can respect him for being a great artist, but I'd never sit down and be like, let me put on that Bob Dylan playlist. And, Bashania Jackson said Mr. Tambourine Man during Mardi Gras is all right. I mean, there are songs that are okay, but I'm not going to be like, yo, man, you know what would hit right now?
Yeah. I've never put him on the jukebox or asked for the volume to be turned up when one of his songs came on or anything like that.
So, but there it is, A Complete Unknown coming out in theaters as well this week.
He's like the Harrison Ford of music because he's just really good at being like the biggest fucking dick like that anyone's ever talked to or interviewed. Like if you ever watch any of the interviews with him, he's just always like the grumpiest character of all time.
he's the Harrison Ford of the music industry.
Yeah. He's just really good at being super grumpy. And he like so much that he's like, I'm gonna move to Paris where I can just be grumpy with everyone. And everyone's like fucking Americans, and Bob Dylan's like fucking people. Yeah, just everybody.
Humans.
Yeah, I'm just so mad at they're just all sitting there being Ferengi. Humans.
Well, anyway, all right. Well, that's what's coming out in theaters this week, and you can get your tickets. Need to get your tickets soon. If you're going to be watching a movie this week, be it Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, day after Christmas, you want to get those tickets now. Tickets are selling out fast to all sorts of showings all over the country. So get your favorite app. Get your movie tickets, put on your pants, go check it out. So with that said, let's talk about a movie that Jake saw. I did not get a chance to see any fresh movies this week. So I reviewed a movie last week.
Well, there we go. I got 3 of them. One of them super quick. I'll just go from oldest to newest. I watched My Neighbor Totoro in the movie theater. It was It was in Japanese. It was super badass. Everyone there had a great time, except there were 2 young girls that were too young to be there, and the movie was
babies.
Yeah, not quite. But they were about close to the ages of the girls in the movie, honestly. But both of them were a little too young for it, and it was in Japanese, so it was surprising that their family took it to it. You could feel and hear the rage in the theater, them just talking so loud and being annoying at times where the movie was quiet. However, they did get tickled at Totoro, and the entire theater, there was like some levity there, and everyone thought that was really fun, that there were these girls that were that were entertained by Totoro, much like in the movie. So that was a lot of fun. Ghibli movies are always worth going and watching in the theater, so you should do it next time you have the chance. I was going to talk to you guys about Juror Number 2 last week. It is now available on Max since the time that I paid to watch it to be able to talk to you guys about it. So it is out there. You can watch it. It is 12 Angry Men with a twist, which is that the juror number 2 may have been possibly the one that accidentally killed the person that now someone else is on trial for the murder of. And so the movie is him playing, it's like 12 Angry Men. He has doubt that the guy that's on trial murdered, and he's the only voice of reason because everyone else is like, let's get the hell out of here. I don't want another day off work. We need to go home. Let's just end it. Send him to prison. Screw him. And he's like, no, how do we know? We got, you have to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. It's on it's the burden of the state to prove it, and blah, blah, blah. We should at least hear him out and consider it and go through the facts, because the whole while he knows that he may have been the one that killed this woman, not knowing, because it was raining, it was dark, it was a 2-lane road. He looked away for a split second, and he thought he hit a deer. But did he? Yeah. And so the whole movie is him trying to convince people that maybe this guy that everyone says killed her might not be a murderer after all, but you learn certain things about that guy and the jurors in that process, which is that everyone kind of has a reason why they want him to be guilty. And, maybe that guy's not as innocent as he is, and this is the only way that they can put him away for things that maybe he has done, but also as he pushes, it's kind of people start being suspicious of him a little bit. Yeah. So it's like 12 Angry Men, but also like, is he going to get away with it? Is his conscience going to get him in trouble? Like, kind of a thing through the whole movie. It's very good. It should have gotten a much bigger theatrical release. I think it would have been something that a lot of people were talking about if it was more widely available. But now it is out on Max, and I think over time it will be a movie that a lot of people watch and find and talk about. And it's going to be one of those things where in a couple months, everyone's like, you ever see Juror Number 2? And you're like, oh yeah, hell yeah, dude, that movie's so good. They're like, I know, right? So not a bad way for Clint Eastwood to end his directing. Sucks that it didn't get out there as much as it would have otherwise. But it's a good movie. And it's very interesting, but it is very much 12 Angry Men. But there's enough
with
of
a new skin.
Yeah.
Well, right on. Well,
then, last one.
Yeah.
I went and watched War of the Rohirrim.
Oh shit, that's right, you did.
Yeah, watched War of the Rohirrim. It is, it's new anime. It is very much new anime, which is the environment is all CGI. Mm-hmm. The characters are all very 2D. And the 2D characters set in the 3-dimensional CGI environment is a little jarring. The opening scenes are twisting cameras and 2D characters, and it just doesn't fit. It feels very much like a PlayStation 1 game.
It's kind of what the problem with the new Berserk series when they tried to read it. Yeah.
Well, so one of the people I watched it with said he watches a lot of anime, new anime, and he's used to seeing that low quality to that. And I'm like, well, the only anime I've watched in the last 20 years is One Piece, and it's stayed the same since the 90s basically. So I'm not used to seeing that, but it was very jarring. And it felt like, PS1 game where the sprite stays flat towards the screen while the 3D environment moves around it. And it's very weird. And there's a lot of animation, especially towards the beginning of the movie, where people are making grand hand gestures and talking a lot. But when they do, they move like they're popping and locking. And it's like they over animated, but they didn't add enough frames to make it smooth. And
My name is Gandalf, and I'm here to say these ants gotta go with the trees today.
It really it doesn't work out very well. So there's many times where it's very distracting and it takes away from the movie. And once the movie settles in and they're in like a stationary environment and it's them talking and stuff, it's just like, oh, this might be kind of a okay movie. And then it does more of that. But the main thing it does is fan service.
That's good, right?
No.
Oh, no.
They do it the wrong way. They do it every one of the wrong ways, which is that they bring in voices like Billy Boyd and Dominic Monaghan, Merry and Pippin. They have them doing the voices of these orcs, though, and they get murked out, and they're not really there much. They have the woman that did the voice of Eowyn as the narrator at the beginning of the movie, but you don't get to know that it's like Eowyn and stuff. So there's all these little things that you have to pick out, but none of it's fan service enough for you to be like, oh, wow, that's really cool. And then they do like a real scene in the movie is like this girl, the main character, is fighting the main villain, and she goes, yeah, they don't call it that anymore. Now they call it for their king, Helm Deep. and like there's weird pauses, and it's like pause for audience applause, and it's not there. So every bit of fan service they try to do does not hit, and then they just kill off all of these characters, and every setup they do is the most avoidable death possible, and it's just to like make sure that in the end it's a girl power movie. And so they murk out everyone else just in the most unnecessary way. Not as a spoiler, because it's the whole point of the story. Her entire family is murdered by like this guy, and each time like she has a brother that murders a Mumakil by himself, and then he just stands there like an idiot knowing that the enemies are hot on his tail because he's literally fighting the enemy, and then they just shoot him to death and he dies. And then her little brother is like, no, I'll ride the worst horse that we have. And then he falls behind, and not a single one of the King's Guard is like, maybe we should look after the prince too. No. And so he just gets captured and instantly murdered. And then the king dude himself is like, I'm going to stay out in the freezing cold, even though I've lived out here for a week. And I'm going to pretend like there's nowhere else for me to go just so that I can die. So every death they set up is the most avoidable thing possible. And it's so that at the end, they can have like girl power rallies. And some of it could have been okay if they would have tweaked just little things. And it's not that they're doing a call to arms girl power thing. It's the way that they go about it. It's not as bad as Avengers Endgame, but it's not too far from how they did that, where they ensured that all these characters end up on screen at the same time talking about how cool they are to themselves. So it's at times it's an okay movie. All of the fan service falls flat, and the budget definitely wasn't put towards the animation. But I think getting the voice cast, there and getting the licensing, and so the quality wasn't what I expected from the guy that gave me, the movies that
classics.
He has in the past. Yeah, Kenji. So I was very disappointed in it. It's not bad, but it is a disappointment. And also it's 2 hours and 15 minutes for an animated movie, and it feels longer than watching an extended edition Lord of the Rings movie. Damn, okay. Because it doesn't have the excitement of the ring and Sauron and his forces. It just has a couple of Mumakils and then an angry guy, so it's not enough to make that 2 hours worth it. It could have definitely been like an 85-minute movie, and then
Well, it is in theaters right now. You can check it out. It's still in the top 10, which Jake's going to go over here with you in just a moment. But Lord of the Rings, I'm sure it's going to be on streaming very soon. So
right, yeah, I'm sure it's going to
probably
be
after
on,
this weekend.
It'll probably be on Max, being a WB thing.
Yeah. Well, so that brings us to the last segment of the show. We're running up against the hour mark. We're going to give you the top 10 of the last weekend, December 20th through 22nd. Top 10 movies. We give you these every single week, and we give you these because if you follow What Makes Money, you will see what's going to come out in the future. You can predict these things. It's very, very formulaic, unfortunately. So he's going to start with number 10 movie in America. We're going to go work it our way up to number 1.
Number 10, holding at number 10, the best Christmas pageant ever, which also is available on VOD right now.
Yeah, I knew it would make it till about this week.
Yeah,
it would be done.
7th week out, 780,000, bringing its total up to 38.4. And then at number 9, dropping from the number 5 spot, War of the Rohirrim, $1.25 million brought in by that one, bringing its 2-week total up to just over $7 million. This one's definitely a disappointment for WB, but I was saying,
make no money.
They kind of did it to themselves. It's too long, the animation's not quite there, and the story is just flat fan service.
Honestly, Amazon kind of ruined everybody's excitement for Lord of the Rings.
Oh, dude, yeah. Their
Rings of Power.
Finger the Rings bullshit
Did you say
show.
Finger the Rings?
Yeah.
Okay.
That is garbage. So, a lot of goodwill towards Lord of the Rings has been ruined thanks to them. And then at number 8, Red One, still out there, 6 weeks out from Amazon. 1.4 million.
I think this is also on VOD this week as well. Or no, it was last week. Yeah,
it's out now. Just under 1.5 million for it. 6 week out, $95 million. Which that was one thing about Masters of the Universe. It's an Amazon thing. So it's going to be plagued with problems and weird DEI stuff and everything that makes Amazon projects weird.
Yeah, but Jeff Bezos is having $1 billion wedding, and so I guess that's
he doesn't
fine.
care.
What an asshole.
Which also we did get news. I forgot to mention Warhammer at Amazon is moving forward. Games Workshop, Henry Cavill, Amazon reached some sort of agreement. This month was their deadline, so if they hadn't done that last week, it would have completely fallen through. But Amazon is still retaining some of the rights now since they've reached something.
Of course.
But it all still has to be worked and hammered out, so it may yet
Hammered
fail.
out.
Yeah. And then at number 7, dropping from the number 3 spot, Kraven the Hunter, $3 million in second week, bringing it up to 17.4. Another 25 million across the world.
Ouch.
Just under 43 million total, so not great for that. And then at number 6, Gladiator 2, 4.5 million by that one. 5 weeks out, 154 million. Another 252
doing very well
across
overseas.
the globe. So 400 million brought in by that one. Not the success they wanted, but it's probably good enough that nobody just flat out lost their money.
Yeah.
And then at number 5, Homestead, 6 million brought in by that one.
I think I mentioned, I talked to you guys about that last week because it has
Angel Studio.
Well, and it also has that.
Oh, your most beloved favorite actor.
I don't like him.
I know you don't.
Neil McDonough.
And then at number 4, dropping from the number 1 spot, Moana. It only took it 4 weeks to do it, though. $13.2 million. It's brought in $360 million in the U.S. Another $433
pretty
across
close
the globe.
to the billion club.
$792.5 million bucks.
So many billions.
And then
millions.
At number 3, Wicked, 14.1, 5 weeks out, $385 million. Another 188 globally, $573 million bucks. Still nowhere near Greece.
But it was fun. I enjoyed it. I thought it was all right. You didn't, but I thought it was fun.
I mean, it was okay, but it was awfully boring. And then at number 2, Mufasa, the Lion King, 35.4 million brought in by that one.
Definitely number
week,
2.
and having its butt whooped by Sonic the Hedgehog. Mufasa brought in another 90 million elsewhere in the world, so I mean, it's not like Disney's not getting money. But Sonic the Hedgehog 3 opened at nearly double that, $60 million. Not too much elsewhere in the world.
I don't think it's really been released internationally yet.
But yeah, like I said, one of my cousins watched it. He said it's probably the best of the 3. Keanu Reeves apparently does a really good job as Shadow. Idris Elba continues to be a fun Knuckles, and then old Ben, what's his name?
Sonic.
As Sonic.
It's good
but,
Sonic.
Yeah, the first 2 movies were really good. This is probably what I'm going to try and find time to watch because I like.
I want to see it this week as well. I'm going to see Nosferatu. I want to see Sonic.
Nosferatu. You'll have to let me know if it's like a jump scare thing or not.
Well, Eggers doesn't do jump scares. That's not his thing.
Yeah.
He's just super creepy, atmospheric. It's going to be slow. It's going to be heady.
I mean, I can do all that, no problem. It's just.
I mean, did you see The Witch or The Lighthouse or?
No, I didn't watch Witch. I've seen parts of Lighthouse. I want to sit down and watch the whole thing. I remember when you talked about it on the show and everything.
Very intentional and methodical, and
I know that I've seen interviews with
filmmaker.
like Willem Dafoe where he talks about The Lighthouse and he's like, I loved doing this movie because it's weird.
Yeah. So. Well, all right, guys. Well, that's our show. I got to get back down to Pinpoint. We are full of holiday cheer down there. Last day open before the holiday break, and then we will come back this weekend on Friday. Just keeping the holiday theme up through New Year's Eve, and then we will be back next week, Monday night. And you can tune in anywhere you want to tune in. Don't forget to like and subscribe wherever it is you get your podcast from, or you can find the live stream on Facebook Live, Twitch, or YouTube Live. You can find everything over on our link tree, driveinspeakerbox.com. And don't forget to tell your friends, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Feliz Navidad, Merry Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, Gruß von Krampus.
Today marks like the beginning of Festivus or whatever.
Hell yeah, it does. Air those grievances, do all those things.
And Crash Cast asked us about Y2K. You talked about that last
It's
week.
yeah, it's already out of theaters, so it's gone. It's gone. All right, guys. Well, we will see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in, and yeah, Merry Christmas, guys.
Yep. See you guys.
As you leave the theater, folks, please be careful. Don't let this happen to your car. Be sure to remove the speaker before you leave. If you should accidentally pull a speaker loose, please turn it in at our snack bar or box office. Thank you.